everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBay. I am Movie Bay, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review over Netflix's newest competition reality show entitled The Trust, A Game of Greed. But before we get into it though, I would like for y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here on Movie Bay, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, then you might as well still hit the subscribe button and stick around. If you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up. And of course, you're always welcome to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I didn't have anything to watch over the weekend. So I said, you know what, let's give it a try. And after watching the first 2 episodes, I wanted to rip my TV off my wall and throw it over the balcony. Just kidding. I would never do that. But that's just how annoyed I was. But after episode 2, it did eventually get better. And I was like, you know what? It's a lot of talking points in here, so I'm going to review it. With that being said, this will be a review. I broke it episode 1 through 4 down into categories. So like just main talking points over major events that happened. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the premise of the show. So you have an island of 12 strangers, and they vacation on this island, and they have a trust fund of $250,000. They can split the money equally. It's about $20,000 per person before taxes, okay? Here's the plot twist. You do have the option to vote people out of the trust. And of course, the less people in the trust, the bigger your portion gets, okay? It only takes one person to vote in order for a person to leave. But if there is not a majority, then nobody leaves. Let's go ahead and get into my first talking point, Juelz versus the women. There is a contestant named Juelz. Juelz is a police officer. However, Juelz lies about his occupation. He tells the occupants of the house that he is a personal trainer and a stripper. Why, Juelz? Why lie about your education? Why say that you're a stripper of all things? Well, Juelz says that he doesn't like telling people that he's a police officer because being a black man, being a police officer in this day and age, he's not here for the questions. And he also doesn't want girls to flock to him just because he's a police officer. So he goes with being a stripper. That doesn't make any sense to me, sir. Do you know that people have a negative connotation of strippers? So with that being said, after he tells the house this, the women in the house automatically label him an F-boy. Tolu specifically. She's like, F-boy radar going off. I live in Houston, home of the F-boys. She's not lying there. I see men like him every day. See what happens when you lie? It was already bad enough that you light skinned and you walking around with your shirt and your chest all out. Your shirt undone and your chest all out. Now you say that you're a stripper. Strike number 1. Juelz is also talking to other house occupants, and this girl named Julie asked if he's a hustler because he has many different jobs. And he's like, of course, a hustler by any means. And she's like, whoa, red flag. If you're a hustler, that means you're going to do anything for money. But Julie, you're an entrepreneur. You got it out the mud. Aren't you a hustler too? So you shouldn't be trusted either? Oh, okay. So there's a game this episode where they have to guess which secret belongs to a person, or everybody pins these specific secrets on Juelz. They said they believe he have had sex with over 150 people, that he attends parties where women are weighed outside, which, by the way, I knew that was Julie because no tea, no shade, but that's what them sororities, white people sororities, that's what they do. Why would y'all think the black man did it? What? That didn't make any sense to me. Like, okay, but go off. I was thinking white boy frat, white girl sorority. That's the type of things they do, but they pinned that on him as well. And nobody fessed up to their secrets, those secrets particularly. So he just took the heat for that. So now strike number 3. Number 1, how you look. 2, your occupations. 3, now they think you're a whore and a misogynist. So the women band together and they think, we can't trust Juelz. I think he's lying about not lying when it comes to the secrets. He's an F-boy. He's a hustler. We got to get him out of this house. Mind you, nobody has to leave. Everybody is already a winner. But the girls, more specifically, Tolu, Winnie, Julie, and a little bit of Lindsay, decide that no, he's got to go. Every episode, they have a vault. And Juelz was selected to go into the vault. And they were selected with two different offers. Him and Simone selected the offer where I think $5,000 was added to the trust, but you have to take away two people's rights to vote at tonight's ceremony. So they look at a random list on the wall and they pick the first two names because that is the easiest way to be unbiased. Tolu's name was one of those names, and oh boy was she pissed. She was mad because it's not the fact that you took away my right to vote, but I've been having things taken away from me my whole life. Girl, you pushing it. Girl, you dragging it. Like, it's not that crucial, especially because it's day one. Nobody's expecting the vote in the first place, right? So of course, like a nice gentleman, Juelz apologizes. He tries to damage control. It was literally the only thing that we could think of so where nobody would be mad. But of course, somebody's going to end up mad anyway. So we just picked two random names off of the wall. In order, by the way. They were in order. Number 1, number 2. So we just going to pick the first two names. But no, she thinks it's strategic. Now, in her defense, when you get on these game shows like Big Brother, people get bit with the bug. And the bug is paranoia. So I don't really fault her for thinking that it's strategic. But let's be honest, she already had her mind made up about Juelz. That's why it seemed like a personal attack. Now it's time for the voting ceremony. And a majority of the women, Winnie, Julie, I believe Lindsay, and Tolu, even though her vote didn't count, voted Juelz out of the house. Before the voting ceremony, Juelz and Jake, they were preaching how, this is our new family. We can all make it to the end. Let's just have a fun summer. And the girls still went and voted him out. When the news was given to him, they start trying not to cry and putting their heads down. You should be ashamed because it's night 1 and nobody had to go home. Night 1, night 2 max. And nobody had to go home. But you were just so set on you can't trust him. It's been 2 days. You can't trust nobody in here. So why pick on Juelz? But that's okay. I'm sure he'll be back season 2. He could have been an F-boy. Tolu was like, it's my gut. My gut is never wrong. Trust me, I'm that same type of girl. And your gut wasn't wrong. He was lying about something, but it wasn't what you thought it was. It was clearly just his occupation. I feel like he was going to turn on us in the future. It's day 2. Like, I don't know. Like, I really just feel like they really prematurely jumped the gun and it wasn't fair, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll be back for another season or another Netflix show. The next category I want to talk about is the girls versus the guys. So in this house, it's battle of the sexes. Unbeknownst to the men. Just the women, y'all. Just the women are thinking like this. On day 1, they were like, this is our alliance. Winnie, Tolu, and Julie. This is our alliance right here. We're going straight to the 3. We're the majority. We got to vote them out. Day 1, y'all. Day 1. Where everybody is a winner already. They are already looking for who they want to cut out of the trust. Dang. We ain't even took our shoes off yet. And they already strategizing in the game that doesn't need strategizing. We're not all going to be friends. We're not all going to get along. They think it's hunky-dory around here. It could be. It really could be. Like, what are y'all talking about? So they form an alliance, all right? Here's the thing. The girls have an alliance, but every time the boys are hanging out together, they talking about, oh, look at them down there. It's like a boys club down there. Y'all are literally having girl meetings and starting alliances. They just chilling. What is going on with y'all? So there's a challenge. This goes to my next category, Jake versus the women. There's a challenge where Brooke, the host, tells them to put themselves in order. Who do you think is the smartest? There is a cisgendered heterosexual white male named Jake. He puts himself at the front of the line. Okay, I don't think that's a problem if he thinks he's the smartest. The same way that Tolu thinks she's the smartest. You could have easily walked to the front of the line. Winnie thinks she's the smartest. You could have walked to the front of the line. Julie thinks she's the smartest. You could have walked to the front of the line, but did y'all? Y'all did not. But yet you're upset that Jake is at the front of the line. You had the same opportunity to go to the front of the line. Julie is upset because, Jake starts running off his resume as to why he's smarter than me, because he flies jets and he builds helicopters and he has a master's degree. Okay, because he's giving reasons as to why he believes he's smarter. The same way you started running off your resume, how you have a degree and you're socially and emotionally intelligent. If you think you're smarter, sis, then get in front of him. What he gonna do? Fight you? No. What he gonna do? Pull your hair? No. But she sits and she pouts in second place. Okay. Like Jake said in his confessional, this is really a challenge of personalities. Because when Brooke said, put yourself in line from who you think is the smartest, about 3 people automatically went to the end of the line. I don't think I'm that smart. They went to the line. That's your personality. You're a passive type. There's somebody like Bryce who was like, well, you have more business knowledge than I do. So he put himself behind this lady. He's like, well, you're older than me, so I just automatically think you're wiser. So he got behind another lady. Like, he said, it's no big deal. I don't care to fight about this. If you think you're smarter, you think you smarter. But no, it was the women, more specifically Julie, Tolu, and Winnie, that were offended. The next question was, put yourselves in order for who do you believe is the better leader? Jake stays in first place and everybody is mad at him. Why are y'all mad when you could have easily walked your ass up to the number 1 spot if you thought that you were the best leader? Are you mad that he has confidence in himself? You literally had the same opportunity to walk your ass to the front of the line too. I don't understand. And I agree with Winnie in this instant. She said she was at number 2. She put herself at number 2 and Julie was trying to instigate. I think Winnie should be number 1. And they looked at each other and he was like, And then she was like, I'll let you have it. Because is it worth fighting over? Is it worth fighting over? It's not. So now that Jake is the leader, Brooke, the host, tells him, now I want you to put everybody in order from who do you believe is the most loyal to the least loyal. So what does Jake do? He puts all the men at the front. Granted, he's been hanging out with the men primarily. So of course I'm going to put the people I trust at the front of the line. But all the women thought that was him being misogynistic. If Tolu would have been the person to put people in line from most loyal to least loyal, how much do y'all want to bet she would have put all the women first? Because that's who she's been conversing with the most. But no, because he's a man, it's misogynistic. I'm not one of those pick-me women, all hell men. I'm not that type of girl. But y'all got to know me to know me. I just really feel like on this show, they tripping. The women were tripping on this show. It's like y'all making a mountain out of a molehill. It ain't that deep. So because he's the leader, the host tells him, now you got to pick 2 people to go into the vault. He picks Jasper because he's going to be level-headed. And then he chooses Bryce because Bryce didn't get to vote last ceremony. Now Tolu's sitting there looking like, fuck am I, chopped liver? Because she too didn't get to vote. I just wish Tolu would have spoke up in that moment instead of going to bitch and complaining about it later on that day. You could have said, well, Jakey Poo, by that logic, I too didn't have a right to vote. So I believe me and Bryce should be able to go into the vote. And I can guarantee you Jake would have been like, oh, you sure right. Okay, I choose Tolu and Bryce. I bet you he would have done that. Sometimes you got to speak up in the moment because I don't think Jake is intentionally doing these things like they believe he is. It really is just ignorance. It's not considering, oh, you sure right. But if you would have told him that in the moment, if he didn't correct it, then that would have taught you the type of person that he is. Not the fact that he didn't think about it. It's if I present it to you, what are you going to do now? That tells me the type of person that you are. After that, Jake and Tolu have a beef. So that goes into my next category, Jake and Tolu. Tolu rounds up the women and she tells them, I'm sick of Jake. Mama J is in consensus. She's one of the older women on the show. She says that Jake is misogynistic. I don't like how he treats women. I don't like how he treats you, Julie, because mind you, Jake and Julie have been conversing and flirting over the past couple of days, and on his loyalty chart, he put her at number 5. So that made her feel away. Julie and Jake also try to make up because you hurt my feelings. But mind you, Julie is constantly saying that I don't care about Jake, I'm playing him, but crying every chance she get because you hurt my feelings. He doesn't like you, boo. Jake is not into you. You are a fetish to him. You're something young and something dumb. He doesn't like you. Okay, let's proceed. So Julie sets up a meeting between Jake and Tolu. And this is when Tolu tells him, hey, I don't like how you always compliment my blackness. It sounds crazy though, right? You always say how I'm dressed like an African princess and I'm dressed like an African warrior. That's problematic. That is problematic. So she tells him this and he apologizes. Tolu says, I want you to look at me as more than just African. Hold on. Because in her intro, she said, my culture plays a strong part of who I am. But yet, you don't want people to look at you as the African girl. But you are the girl from Africa. Oh, wait, my bad. Nigeria, which is in Africa, sis. But okay, go off. It must be an African thing. I don't know. So I understand his problematic comments. Don't think I don't, because I do. White people do that. They're so weird. I went to a convention one time. I had my hair braided. And this lady was like, oh my God, I love your hair. And I was like, thank you. My son, his girlfriend's black. And I love her hair. Her hair is always braided. I told her to teach me how to braid. I was like, okay. Like, white people try to relate to us by our culture. If they're trying to relate to us through our culture, it's not malicious. It's ignorance. So you simply have to tell them, hey, don't come off like that. Have y'all seen You People on Netflix? Oh, that's the perfect movie. That's the perfect movie, because the white lady was always talking about the black girl. Oh, I like your hair. Oh, I like this. Oh, I'm gonna wear hoop earrings. It's like, I am more than just my culture. Yes. They make up. He apologizes, and he even acknowledges, you know what? I could have chosen you to go into the vault the other day because I didn't even think about that you had your vote, your right to vote revoked. I apologize for that too. And she didn't even talk to him about that. That's how I know that his apology was genuine. Okay. So after they have that conversation, Tolu has a girls' meeting. She says, I don't believe anybody should go home tonight. I feel like we can all make it to the end. I like the vibe that's going on in the house. Oh, kind of like what Joelle said. Okay. So I don't plan on voting. Does anybody else plan on voting? No. Oh, Mama J. I plan on voting. I know who I'm voting for tonight. Oh, you want to tell us? I'm not telling y'all who I'm voting for. Okay, what if we just run off some names and I'm not going to say yes or no? Hold on, Mama J. Because if we're in an alliance, you can't keep secrets from your alliance. You can't say I plan on voting, but I'm not going to tell y'all who. That's not how alliances work. But everybody but Julie was like, oh, okay, that's fine. No, that's not fine. That's not fine. But we all know that Julie is panicking because Mama J doesn't like Jake and Julie likes Jake. So now she's panicking. So that night at the ceremony, Julie has the idea that I'm going to counter Mama J's vote. That way nobody goes home. So she votes for Simone, another lady. And Simone ends up going home. What? How? Because Mama J didn't vote for Jake. She voted for Simone. But Julie thought she was going to vote for Jake, which is why she voted for Simone. And Simone ended up having 2 votes, leading her to leave the house, the mansion. Everybody's surprised because nobody knew anybody was going to vote. And this just told the girls in the Girls Alliance, because it's an alliance, that she would choose Jake before she chooses us. So now that's a problem. The next day, or word gets around that Mama J was the rogue They call it a rogue vote. And Julie tells Jake this. And Jake says, well, Mama J has to leave because she's going to mess up the environment. She's going to throw everybody off. We can't just have people voting people off to go home. She needs to go next. And this also, because Jake is a smart man, he said he's thinking to himself like, wait a minute. It must be some type of girls' alliance in this house. It is, Jakey Poo. It is. They have banded against y'all from day one. From day uno. They were already knowing that we're going to vote some people out of here because we need to make it to the end. But because Julie, loose lips, sink ships, she tells Jake. And Jake now is on to Mama J and the Girls Alliance. Let's go into my next talking point, the millionaire. During the first episode, when they were guessing secrets, someone's secret was, I became a millionaire at 21 years old. And I'm thinking, well, it's a lot of older people here. Somebody could have been a millionaire and lost all their money. But it's actually Bryce. Bryce is a 22-year-old real estate agent. And his family, mother in particular, started a real estate empire. So not only does he come from money, he also makes his own money. Okay. He has been holding this secret in. He doesn't want to tell people he's a millionaire because they're going to think that, why are you here? And vote him off. So it's a good day in the house. Everybody's vibing. Nobody's going home. Okay, it was another vote and nobody went home. So he thinks this is the perfect time for me to tell everybody, hey, everybody, my secret was that I became a millionaire at 21 years old. Everybody said, oh, we already knew that. We could have guessed that, except for Julie. Julie is fuming. Her eyes are red. They're popping out of her head. She looks like she wants to shank Bryce with the butter knife. Okay. Let's talk about Julie's backstory. Julie came from nothing. Her parents weren't there for her. She used to have to steal food, ask friends to shower at their house, things like that. So Julie, like I said, she gets it out the mud. So she is super highly offended that millionaire Bryce is here trying to take a piece of her pie. She does not like that at all. But especially when Bryce pulls up his pants legs and say, I finally get to wear my Armani shoes. That's where you messed up, Bryce. It's one thing to be a millionaire because you can't help that you come from money. You cannot help that. You know, privilege is privilege is privilege. But it's you gloating about your designer while you got a girl who's still in designer. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of rubbing it in people's face. No, you shouldn't be ashamed or, you know, I guess like make yourself feel lower to make people feel comfortable. But you have to be aware of other people's circumstances. You can wear your designer, but don't say, oh, look at my Armani shoes I got on today. That's different. So after Bryce came out with his secret, the women, more so Tolu and Julie, they're contemplating if Bryce needs to be voted out of the house. I don't even think Julie's contemplating. I think she really wants him gone. I forgot to mention that Lindsay goes back and tells Bryce that the girls want to vote him out of the house. So now he is plotting on how he needs to stay. While away on a vacation that she was awarded by Jasper, the host Brooke offers two deals, one to Brian and one to Julie. Brian says, my integrity is not for sale. No deal. Julie, on the other hand, says, deal. And then that's when the episode goes off. So what I want to talk, episode 4 goes off. So I want to talk about two additional things before I get off of here. The women on this cast, and I hate to say this because as a woman, I'm a girl's girl, y'all. I am a girl's girl. I am a feminist, okay? Women deserve equal rights, equal opportunity. The women on this show were annoying as hell. Because how are you going to have a women's alliance, an all-girls alliance from day one, and then get mad that the men are conversing? How are you going to have a women's alliance and get mad that Jake chooses his homeboys when he is doing challenges? That's who he's close to. The same way you would have chosen your homegirls. The women on this show are also greedy. From day one, Winnie was like, I'm ready to cut people loose. From day one. Tolu says it's all about me first, self first. Julie is a self-proclaimed city girl. Lindsay, I don't know, that lady just, have y'all noticed in her confessionals from day one, from episode 1 to episode 4, that girl has amped up. Her hair look crazy. She going through something. She don't need to be on the show. She needs to be healing and doing some self-care days. And then Mama J is cool. She was really pissed off about Simone not having the girls' backs in front of the men. So that's why she wanted to vote Simone out. But I don't know. The women on this cast are greedy. They all for self. And it's really weird because the men are the ones that's like, let's all get along. We can all make it to the end. It's just so weird because we're not used to seeing it that way. That goes into the cast. A lot of people are at the consensus that this cast sucks. It's hard to root for anybody because everybody is unbearable, minus Jasper and maybe Brian. And it makes me think, like, is this a bad cast or is this good casting? Because when you have a game of greed, you do need to cast people that are greedy. That makes sense? Because even though you can all make it to the end, the producers don't want everybody to make it to the end. So we had to cast people who would shake up. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to have the people like Brian's that's like, no, money is evil. We can do this together. And then you got to have the Jaspers, the laid back kind. You got to have the leaders like, I believe, Jewels and Jake are. It's good casting. It's just when you put them all together, these people are annoying. Nobody is likable, minus Jasper. So with that being said, I'm rooting for Jasper because he gets on my nerves the least. Jasper or Brian to win. That sums up the major parts of episodes 1 through 4. Please leave your thoughts and opinions on this episode in the comment section down below. Make sure y'all keep it cute. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my commentary. And of course, subscribe because I'm going to be dropping episodes 5 through 8 really soon. I also do The Traitors on Peacock. I do competition reality show, y'all. I do that. I do throwback movie reviews, throwback reality. Subscribe, binge my channel, look at my playlist, see if you like it, hang around. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.